So the next bit that we're going to do with this picture is put the shadows on to the flowers. And I've made up a mix of alizarin with ultramarine in. Now, this mix may end up being a little bit too dark, so I'm just going to test it out first. Here we have a shadow because this area is showing light through it. So we're interested in those darker areas of shadow, and there's a light coming onto this edge which I've already marked in. Don't want it too dark, so I'm going to add some water to this and just spread it down a little. And that colour also goes onto this petal. That's probably a better tone actually. So just bringing that through. Not worrying too much about the one at the back at the moment. I can put some work on that after. And this is sort of some dark area. And a little bit in here, and this colour comes down to where that area with the yellow on is. So just trying to go carefully round there. It's coming round and then it lightens up a bit. So again, just add some water to your mix. And I'm going to come up here, trying to separate out these two. This area has some tone in it. And then this area is light. Just checking I'm not leaving. And just before I go too far, just use the dab off brush method to take off any excess behind me, so that lot can be drying. That edge there is a little bit harsh, but I'll soften it later. Doesn't matter for the moment. This area in here is darker, and there are some lines of light in this area. So what I'm going to do is put the tone on. I have marked on the drawing, with the drawing, where this shadow sits. And before I go too far, just dry the brush out completely, so that's a squeeze out. And then run the brush where those lines of light are. And you'll find that the brush will just lift out some lines of the lighter tone. There are some little lines from the stamen. Don't make them too even. And then there's a shadow around here. And this shadow goes up here and in here. And then it goes slightly onto the next petal. And then there's sort of a line of shadow there. I'm not going to make that as dark because it is on the picture. And here we can come in and not go all the way up. And just do some lines in here. And that gives you the next shade up. It might be slightly darker than it really needs to be, but I can modify it later if I need to. And then we've got this one to do the same. The lighter you keep this second tone, the brighter the flower will look. So this one has a little line of shade here. Sorry, I'm at a strange angle because of where the position of the camera is again. So I'm sort of twisted trying to paint. And we've got shade in here. We've got shade up to the top of where the stamen are. So just bringing that paint. Notice how I keep the paint going in one direction and I don't go back. So I kind of fill in an area and move on. And again, we've got little lines of stamen there. That would be better done with a finer brush. Here. Here. So some of this is just darkening over what was already there. And then this petal is, again, like the other one, quite dark. So just run this tone as neatly as I can at this rather strange angle. And at the moment, obviously, the blossom is still white, basically. And then dry the brush out completely and just run in and lift off in a couple of places there, just to give the feel of some lighter areas. And then just let that dry and we'll see how dark it comes up. So that was alizarin with a touch of ultramarine in.